Hello, everybody. I hope all is well. It is me, Demetra K. And again, I hope you're having a great day. I'd like to say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you. Hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you so much to my wonderful moderators for everything that you do in holding down the comment section. Now, today we're going to be talking about Trump refusing to give food stamps to millions of Americans after federal judges, I should say, ordered him to do it. So we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to show you his post. I guess it came from his Truth social media site, if you will, of him backtracking, saying psych. So of course we'll get into all of that. But in the meantime, we have Sister Shirley. How you doing? Doug, what's going on with you? Jersey, Rick, and Lynette and Troy. How you doing? Thank you once again for joining me. Some of y'all saw me on the African Diaspora News channel today at 11 a.m. I'll be there again tomorrow and on Thursday, same time. Just doing what we do here, just having a great conversation about different topics and things like that. Shannon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So while we wait for everybody to come on, as y'all see here, hey, Chalk Chick, it's on this side. Biggie Small, what's going on with you? I voted today, right? Now, I'm not normally want to make a big deal of like, I voted, but there's a lot of state and local elections going on around the country. I guess they're all kind of major, but some of them are for the governor of certain states and the mayor, like in New York City. There's a hotly contested mayoral race there. Of course, California, they have Prop 50, where they're trying to decide. They're going to actually let the people decide whether they want to take 5 seats from the Republicans, because you guys know that it was done here in Texas to where the legislature, I guess, Republican-led, was like, yeah, we taking the seats, 5 of them from our Democrats. And so California's like, well, we're going to return the favor then. So it remains to be seen if that'll actually pass. Here, I live in a different municipality, if you will, than Houston, the city in and of itself. So the elections that I voted in was just different measures and things like that, school trustee type things. So I don't want to say they weren't major. They're major to somebody. So I went out and voted on like 22 proposals on the bill. So a rather small one where I'm at. So it all remains to be seen. But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there's a lot of Democrat turnout, some sort of referendum to Trump and the Republicans and what they have done within the last year. Of course, you know that Trump was elected almost, I think, yesterday or tomorrow or today would make a year. No, tomorrow. So tomorrow will make a year that he bested that of Kamala Harris. And so a lot of people are like, this ain't it, right? We like some of the things that you're doing, but a lot of the things is just... but it all remains to be seen, right? Especially the mayoral race there in New York City, where Zoran Mandani, who is like 34 years old, so he's young, and I guess he's one of the youngest ones to run for mayor and perhaps be successful in a long time. Of course, he's running against that of Andrew Cuomo, who was the governor of New York, but then he got unseated, if you will, had to step down behind some, essay allegations and things like that. Then, of course, you have Chris Silva, who is actually running on a Republican ticket. Cuomo tried in a primary against Mondani, but he did not, wasn't successful, him and Eric Adams. So they both decided they would run as an independent. Looks like Zoran Mondani is, may win. But of course, you have people like the governor here in Texas, Greg Abbott. He basically said, any New Yorkers that move here, we're going to place 100% tariff on you. Basically, so he's saying, if y'all elect Mondani, then I'm gonna make y'all pay for it if you move here. So y'all better vote wisely. Is kind of what they're saying. Now, I guess Trump kind of inadvertently endorsed that of Andrew Cuomo, but Andrew Cuomo is saying no, he didn't. But many are saying, yeah, he did, right? Because the rub there is they don't want a Muslim to be the mayor of New York City. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens tonight. And of course, we'll talk about all that tomorrow. But anyway, I think I tap danced long enough. Who else do we have on here before I get started? Sister Shirley says, I fast and pray that they release these people's food stamps. Yeah, it's not good at all. Mike, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me once again. Odd Negroes, how you doing? Long time no see. Dano, what's going on with you? Edward in the building. Brother Samuel, hope you're having a great day. Albie Chill, what's going on with you? MC Fat, hi. You saying how long do you fast? Sister Shirley, okay. Craig, how you doing? Good to see you as well. Dinkin, thank you so much. For that love and appreciate you. Says praying for good energy on tonight's podcast. Yes, because I need it because I'm tired. But that's okay. We'll all get through it. Sister Sunlight, how you doing? Once again, thank you for joining me. Oh, thank you. I say nice shirt. I got it for a very deep discount. Brother Jesse, how you doing? I hope all is well. Your average logical thinking, how you doing? Says at least Virginia's governor released emergency SNAP benefits on everyone's EBT card as of yesterday. He did a good thing on the way out. Yes, because that's another hot race in Virginia where the Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl Sears, she's a big time Trumper, black lady from Jamaica, Jamaican American, I should say, running against that of Abigail Spanberger, who's a Democrat who, the NAACP and Obama went and stomped for, if you will. Doesn't look like Winsome is going to win. Looks like they are going to get a Democrat governor. So it's just all over, right? But yeah, that's a good thing that they did, that people need to eat. Regardless of where you stand on politics, don't believe media. How you doing? Sharon, what's going on with you? Yashawn says, hey, from LA. Yes, indeed. Did you see any of that Dodger parade? I sure did. Hey, Wilder, how you doing? Thank you so much for everybody asking them hit the like button. And lightweight, he says, isn't it immigrants and white people getting all the benefits? Well, I won't say all the benefits. I mean, we're getting some too, right? There's people from all walks of life getting the benefits, but we'll get into that. Avenge the Ancestors, how you doing? Yes, indeed. Cloudless, what's going on? Okay, I said hello to everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. So, okay, as you guys may or may not know, there is a shutdown going on now. As of now, this is the longest shutdown in history. The first longest shutdown per se belonged to that of Donald Trump in 2016 for 35 days. Now it has surpassed 35 days, making this shutdown the longest in history. Of course, you know that with the shutdown, there's a lot of things that are not operating. A lot of people on the federal level have lost their jobs and or have been laid off, furloughed. Of course, we know that their air traffic controllers in the aviation field and all that, they are working without a paycheck. Now, it sounds like next week will be the second time that they have not gotten paid. And so the Secretary of Transportation basically said that they may have to ground all flights because they don't know, I guess, if the air traffic controller and the people working in aviation are going to continue to show up without any money. And so as it is in many other airports like Houston, Los Angeles, and different places, they said there's like a 3-hour wait at least to go through TSA. So they're telling people to get there early, which is a total nightmare. So, of course, some of the other things that are not functioning or benefits not being funded is that of the food stamp program, SNAP. Now, it's about 42 million Americans that depend on the benefits. So seniors, disabled, and people with children, people who just not making enough to feed themselves. Now, it should also be said that there are many people who are working. They also rely on the benefits. Of course, veterans and a whole host of other people are not, with the exception of some states who are saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and fund it anyway, like Virginia. But there's a whole host of people who are just not getting their benefits. And those people include Republicans, Democrats, independents, and whoever, right? So there's a lot of people who are having a rude awakening that they're not going to get their food stamps. So, of course, a lot of people are making a big deal that it is November. We know in November there is Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are not going to be able to celebrate with food unless they go to a food bank, which the food banks are inundated with people trying to get food. So you see a whole lot of people just donating and just trying to do what they can to help those who need the assistance. Now, last week, 2 federal judges ordered the Trump administration to provide SNAP benefits during the shutdown, ruling that it's illegal to freeze payments. Now, it says the administration announced it would provide partial payments for November using contingency funds. After initially threatening to withhold them, families are expected to receive about half of their normal benefits for November. Now, that was last week, right? When Trump and them was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to release some of them. But as of today, Trump says, oops, let me remove that. Hold on 1 second. Let me remove that. So Trump says SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, manyfold, during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP. Because I imagine that's how he was saying it. We will be will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can easily do, and not before. Thank you for attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, so with that, the shutdown, the point of contention is that the Democrats are saying, well, we are not going to concede because the Republicans want to cut a whole lot of things, including health benefits for millions of Americans, and their premiums will skyrocket. Of course, we know that November 1st marked the first day of open enrollment for people who are looking to change or do something, whatever it is, different to their medical care. A lot of people saying they've seen their premiums skyrocket. In some cases, they said that it can go up 300%. So with whatever you're paying times 300% is crazy, but that's what it says. So the Democrats are like, we're not budging because we don't want you being the Republicans to do that. And the Republicans are saying, well, you all are holding out because you guys want to give health benefits to illegal immigrants, which they're saying is not true. Then, of course, within that, the Republicans okayed it with that of Donald Trump to give Argentina 40 billion. It sounds like they may want to give them 20 billion more. And just a whole lot of stuff. So basically, the Democrats are like, we're not budging. The Republicans aren't budging. And so the Trump administration has gone on to call this the Democrat shutdown. But there's a lot of polling out there saying that many Americans, in fact, overwhelmingly Americans, aren't believing that this belongs to the Democrats. They are full on saying that it belongs to the Republicans. In fact, Donald Trump has the worst approval rating that he has ever had. It sounds like it's pretty bad among all presidents. It's like 63% of Americans disapprove of his administration and the job that he's doing. So it's the lowest rating that he's ever had. So I want to show y'all what his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, I think that's how you say, said during the press conference when she was asked about, Trump and what he decided not to do.
Confusion about SNAP benefits. Sure. The president just posted that they will only be given out when the radical left Democrats open the government and not before. Mm-hmm. But just yesterday, the administration said it would comply with a court order to expend the full amount of SNAP contingency funds by end of business day yesterday. So did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment and the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP, but it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
Blocking that contingency fund for the future if this shutdown lingers on?
Look, the president does not want to have to continue to dip into a contingency fund that doesn't even have enough money, by the way, to fund the full program. It takes $9 billion to get the full scale of the benefits out the door. This contingency fund only has about $5 billion in it. So again, Democrats need to reopen the government so we can get these benefits out the door for people who truly need them.
Okay, so as you heard there, again, that was his press secretary basically saying that these benefits are for those who truly need them. It's the Democrats, they need to open up the government, this, that, and the other. To me, it sounds like a lot of goalposts moving because originally Trump said that he would oblige the judge's orders who told him that it was illegal to do what he's doing because those funds were already allocated. So it's not like the funds were coming from somewhere new. They were already allocated as a contingency fund and that he could not use it for anything else. But one thing that stuck out to me, what she said is, well, that money is supposed to be for wars and other things. And I thought about what Tupac said. You got money for wars, but you can't, feed the poor. And I was like, man, if she didn't say that part out loud, right? So anyway, and I saw somebody ask me if my Democrat shield. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Try to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. So as you guys may or may not know, we talked about this a little bit, that Trump, he had a Great Gatsby theme Halloween party last Friday. For those of y'all who don't know what the Great Gatsby is, it was a novel written by F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1925. Was set, the book anyway, was set in the 1922, I think, or something like that. With that of Jay Gatsby, who was a millionaire, and he was in love with Daisy Buchanan, was his friend's cousin or something like that. But it really was a book about disillusionment versus reality versus, disillusionment, whatever the case is. Basically a decay of society, things that were going on, masked with glitz and glam, and really kind of tone deaf to everything that was going around. I'm like, wow, it was like a prophet or something involved in throwing this party, because it kind of almost describes what we got going on now. You throw a party of such opulence, right? Because that's what the Great Gatsby is. But then you hear of, millions of people who are not going to get their benefits for whatever the reason is that they depend on. Many of them depend on. I know some people say, well, there are some people that's working the system, but I understand food stamp fraud is about 2%, give or take. So it's not the majority, it's the minority that people, for whatever reason, tend to focus on. So I want to see what you all have to say about Trump, in a sense, changing his mind. He did, right? He says he's not going to obey. So I guess there's lawyers saying that they're going to sue to get the judges to make them. So I guess not necessarily Trump, but the people around him that are helping to make these decisions, they could be held accountable for not releasing the money to the American citizens that need it. So then it doesn't sound like the shutdown is going to end anytime soon. Some are saying that it can go past Thanksgiving and into, December, into Christmas as well, because neither one of them are budging. So it's going to be rough for a lot of people. And for those of y'all who think that, poor people on food stamps, again, this is going to affect everybody eventually, because it's a trickle down, trickle up, sideways, and all kind of stuff with this. So it's like a ricochet effect. So anyway, let me get back to this person that asked me. I think they're asking me that if I'm a Democrat shield, then I will get back to everybody's question. Water service, how you doing? You say, are you a Democrat shield? What would make you ask me that? Because I'm reporting what happened today. You're asking me if I'm a Democrat shield. Do you not want the truth? Do you want me to lie? Because I'm assuming you're not a Democrat, maybe a Republican or whatever. Do you want me to just kind of like candy coat stuff? Or do you want me to give the news as it is? How does that make me a Democrat shield? Because what I'm not saying, Trump should keep food stamps for millions of people who depend on it. I'm just curious as to why you asked me that. And I've never seen you on here before, so I'm assuming you're new. So let me go all the way back to where I left off. And thank y'all so much for bearing with me. I just want to make sure I give you all the information. Here we go. John, how you doing? Says the Trump administration is doing everything white folks have been talking about doing to the Black community for years, falsely making Blacks faces a representation of everything. I think you're trying to say, oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to have that conversation tomorrow on the African Diaspora News channel. I'm going to show a couple of things to kind of back that up. But yeah, you're right. I think white folks are really learning that, the wealthy, the oligarchy, the machine, the capitalists, they didn't mean poor white people. That doesn't include you. You can't sit with us type of thing. And so those white people are learning like, oh, what I actually been advocating for everybody else is now visiting me. And we really don't kind of know what to do with that. And I'm not saying that they've always been rich. They haven't. There's been white people who've been poor their whole life. But for some reason, they thought that what Trump was going to do once he got in office again was going to save them. And it's not. So yeah, Sherry, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Shannon says Phil Collins last night about them stealing food from the grocery store. It was very funny show. So he said Phil Collins. Like the singer. Hi Cube, how you doing? It says woke Black celebrities and sports stars are silent, always silent on what their farm owner, the Democrat Party, does. I'm not sure how true any of that is. I know there's a lot of people who are donating. Oh, I should have put up this. Maybe I'll find it. And I won't have time to do it today. I can't remember the name of the coach. Let me see. He was last night on some show. Let me see if I can see his name just really quick. He's a Black coach Hold on, give me 1 second. I want to make sure I get his name right. Okay, so the Bucks head coach, whoever that is. But he's basically saying, regardless of who's in office or whatever it is, he says, I don't want to get into politics, but he says the thought of children going hungry because politicians can't figure it out, he said, is sickening. And, he says that he is going to donate and all that. And he's told his team and everybody else that he can think of, please do the same, because it's a child. When people say, oh, there's lazy people, he said, you cannot attribute that to a child because a child has nothing to do with it at all. So the fact that we're going to sit up here and try to argue back and forth as to who's at fault, this, that, and the other, he said is wrong. And he's right. Children should not have to pay for whether it's their parents or politicians or whatever. So for people who are cheering this on, you might want to check yourself. So yeah, Edward says no more benefits for illegal immigrants. Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be getting them anyway, especially when there are Americans who don't have everything that they need and sleeping on the street and all that other stuff. So I think we all agree on that, right? As long as Americans want for things and they need things, no one else outside of America should be getting it. And that includes illegal immigrants in other countries and things like that. Because, oh, yes, we give a lot of money to other countries. And I just mentioned Argentina. For now, at least got $40 billion to help them bail out. But the American people are standing in food lines. And, I don't see a lot of people, or I do see some people, but people that's cheering on what Trump is doing, I don't see a lot of people mad about that. They're giving away your tax dollars to Argentina to bail them out while you got people here hungry. Something's wrong with the moral compass. Let's see. Our Negro says they're going to shut down the airports. This is crazy. That's what they said. Next week, if more people walk off the job, because it'll be the second time they're not getting a paycheck, they say it's going to be unsafe to have planes in the air without enough manpower to make sure they're getting where they need to go safely. So yeah, don't believe media says we need white America to stand up. They're affected the most. Oh yeah, they're starting to. There's a whole lot of videos and footage of them, crying and lamenting about what's going on and how dare Trump and things like that. So yeah, they're starting to speak out. But I was having a conversation with this elderly lady at the voting booth. She's a Black lady. And she was like, oh, I just wish, more people would come out to these elections. Because as we know, the state and local election level elections are the lowest turnout. They just are. People don't feel it's important. But now you're seeing why they're important, because you have things like what's going on in Washington, where the House members and the senators, they're like, it seems like they don't care. But if you would show up to those elections and get in people who are going to stand up for you, because they're supposed to go represent you in Washington. So if you show up to those elections and make sure those type of people get in, then we might have a better shot on a federal level. But right now, in a sense, Trump is just kind of doing what he wants. The Democrats, I guess, are trying to stop him. I don't know. But there's a lot of Republicans who are just kind of going along with it. Some of them don't like it, but they're going along with it anyway. But if you take note of that, especially in 2026, and say, okay, I voted for you to go to Washington to speak for me, but you didn't. So now I'm going to have to, bring somebody else in, whether you're Republican or a Democrat. So yeah, a lot of people may not be able to fly next week, unfortunately. What? I mean, Roger says a UPS plane crashed in Louisville. That was today. That's crazy and scary. And I hope everybody survived. Thunder, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, I'm on time today. Yes, you are. I know I'm behind in these comments, so let me catch up just a little bit. Sherry says we need to depend on the Most High anyways. Yeah, but the Most High then gave us some directives too, right? Faith without the works is dead. So yeah. Biggie Small says illegal was stealing millions. It's illegal's fault. I mean, I don't know. There are illegals, if like you say, stealing benefits, but there's people who aren't illegal stealing benefits, right? So we got to get out of that absolutism that, it's all the illegals. Oh, it's everybody, right? But again, they're saying that food stamp fraud is like 2%, give or take. So again, we're having a conversation punishing the 98% over the 2%. Does that make sense? But it's not all the illegals that's doing that, just like it's not all the Americans that's doing it. You see how that works? It's some of everybody that's doing it. Now, I would argue that they shouldn't have an opportunity to do it. If they're illegal immigrants, they shouldn't have the opportunity to do it at all. But it's not just illegal immigrants. So let's, be clear on that. Neo, how you doing? Says I made it at the beginning. Yay. Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So Demetra, I'm hearing it from sides concerning people receiving food stamps. Some agree with Trump, some disagree. Yeah, I'm hearing it from both sides as well. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with withholding food stamp benefits that were already allocated in the contingency fund. I don't agree with holding that from people. I'm never going to advocate for children not being able to eat properly. I'm never. I don't care who's in office. I'm never going to advocate for that. I will never cheer for that at all. Never. Now we'll have the conversation about able-bodied versus people who are not able-bodied. Okay, we could do that. But what we're not going to do is advocate for, and I'm not saying this, you're saying this, Cynthia, but we're not going to advocate for children to go to bed hungry or wake up hungry. And we just not going to do that. Because then when we do that, what does that say about us? Because see, that's why I say I don't get involved in team sports, and politics is a team sport. And what I mean by that is I'm not aligning myself with the Democrats or the Republicans. I'm in the middle, right? I'm nonpartisan. I like to be able to argue from the middle. See, I like to be able to argue some things on the left and argue some things on the right. But what I'm not going to do is argue that children should pay the price because you have a president that is dealing in hubris that I can hold the purse strings whenever I want, right? After dealing in all this opulence. Whether it's a Great Gatsby party, which they said the American taxpayers footed the bill to about $3 million of it. How true it is, I don't know, but that's what I've been hearing. Also saw where Cash Patel, the director of the FBI, took the federal FBI plane to go see his girlfriend sing the national anthem somewhere, and then he flew her home on a taxpayer's dime. You know, Kristi Noem, she just got a $200 million plane, but we sitting up here talking about whether people should get food stamps or not. So we need to be able to argue it all. If we're going to argue it, let's argue it all. That's why I say I argue from the middle. I don't join team sports. So, yeah. Yeah, I think it says, right, it's called SNAP for a reason. Yes, it's supplemental, right? So, yes. Todd, how you doing? Brother Todd, I should say, says Black folks don't need Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Black Friday every damn year. Spend your money on food for your own family and stay home. I totally agree. I do not indulge in holidays at all. In fact, I'd be forgetting that they even coming around. So it's just not something I do. So I hear what you're saying. Let's see. MC Fact says Biden did give lots of money to non-citizens. Yeah, they did. And Kamala was going to do it too. I'm not arguing that they didn't. They did do that, which is why I didn't vote for Kamala. And I'm not sorry that I didn't. So I'm going to just keep saying that. Gearhead, how you doing? So they don't want to cut health benefits. They just want to let the COVID Affordable Care Act emergency subsidies in, which the Democrats actually created. They said it would end. Yeah, I don't know all the dynamics of that, so I don't want to do too much conversation on it because I don't want to misinform people. But at the end of the day, it kind of sounds like people's premiums are going to shoot up. And it's already expensive for a lot of people. So, again, if you can give money to other countries and they get free health care and they can go to school for free, or you can give money to other countries to bail them out, why are we having this conversation about Americans and their health care and what they should and should not pay? Because that money that's going to everybody else is the American taxpayer. So there's taxpayers who can't afford their own benefits, for medically speaking, that are paying for somebody else in another country to get them free. See, those are the conversations we need to be having. Thunder says, family, check your local gardening center. They might have vegetables, plants on sale due to the cold weather season coming. Good advice, because everybody's going to need all the help they could get, right? So, yes, indeed. Jerron says, yes. Yet during the shutdown, they fund billions to send to Argentina for just one thing, Argentina before America, to benefit greedy rich folks and Trump pocket directly, allegedly. Let's see. Lena, how you doing? Says they took all the money they are waiting to get interest back. The rich need no more money. Well, they think they do need more money, right? One who cares. How you doing, brother? Easy E in the building. How you doing? Hope that you are doing well today. I'm so behind. So let's see. You crazy. Don't need Believe Media says Caroline, is she a robot? You know, she's not even 30. Was she like 27 or something like that? But I think her husband is like in his 60s. Sounds like he's got, some money. He must. Okay, let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Okay, so water service, you say, I stand with President Trump on this 80-20 argument. Okay. Cynthia says CNN polling says something different, and I wonder which states are they polling from the most. So you're talking about as far as people disapproving of Trump. That's different polls. because I've seen different polls that have said that. And I think kind of sort of, Cynthia, at the rate things are going, would you really believe, and if that's what you're talking about, do you really believe that Trump is polling well with the American people? I couldn't see how that would be the case. You know what I mean? I mean, just kind of looking at everything in total, not just from one viewpoint, but just the whole picture. I couldn't see how he would be doing great. I mean, and this is not just, it's not the Democrats. Well, I should say that most Republicans believe that he's doing a good job, but it's that independent vote that matters. And most of them do not agree with what he is doing. So that independent vote is the most important, because if you're partisan, you're probably not going to venture too far from your party. There'll be some stragglers, but for the most part, that number tends to stay solid, but it's that independent vote that moves the needle. So yeah. Daniel says these politicians enjoy making American citizens suffer. Republicans and Democrats are the same monster. Come on now. None of them are not guilty, because all of them refuse to do anything to help people. They're going to, stand their ground and make everybody suffer. But guess what? They getting a paycheck. They got their paycheck deposited right on time. They're 1966. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Golly, I'm so behind. I'm so sorry. Sharon says both sides are just playing games, blaming each other. They're all in it together. Come on now. Deacon, you say Democrats are at fault. I don't know. I think they're both at fault. I think when you cannot agree to take care of the American citizens, I think you're both at fault. Both of them. And there's a lot of farmers who voted for Trump who are devastated. There's a lot of them who they're losing their farms and a whole lot of stuff, because they're like, wait a minute now. You want to buy beef from Argentina? What about the beef we got here, homie? What about the beef we trying to sell up out of here? You gonna bring in beef from Argentina to sell to the American people? So what you saying? Up yours to the American cattle farmers, ranchers, or whatever they are? So they're all to blame. They're all to blame. And there's a lot of blame to go around, but at the end of the day, the American people are suffering regardless of what party you come from, right? Thunder says Great Gatsby, a great movie. Yes, it is. And a book. Most of us had to read it, like high school, maybe junior high. But it's considered to be literary art, depending on who you ask. Albert Chill says, I'm just glad we won't be the face of the catastrophe. Nope. They try to make us that, but we're like, get somebody else to do it, right? Edward says, why are these people not protesting Congress? They're still getting paid. There's people protesting, but the Congress is still getting paid. I saw a news conference today. It was the Democrats and the Republicans. They're both going on and on. But the Democrats are like, we showed up to work. Everybody's getting paid, but at least we showed up. The Republicans aren't showing up. It's like, okay, y'all showing up to get nothing done. Y'all just sitting up on the Capitol Hill arguing and having meetings. It's not moving the needle for nobody. So Novia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says this may go into next year. These fools are crazy. That's what I've heard too. It could go into next year. And I guess people will figure it out. But man, those midterm hits, it's going to be I don't know. We'll see a precursor of that, I think, tonight with these different elections and things that's going on. These proposals. We'll see a precursor of it, I think. Arlene, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. The real Stephen Long, what's going on with you? Says, I don't have a month's worth of money. Is that what you meant? Yeah, a lot of people don't. And it's sad. It's just reality. A lot of people don't. Shayla, how you doing? So there was a guy that actually explained it, that Obamacare never was rolled out correctly. I mean, it may or may not be true, because you hear people on both sides. Some people saying, it sucks. But then there's some people saying, you know what? It saved my life. I had a pre-existing before and I couldn't get health care because of the pre-existing, but now I can because Obamacare removed all of that. So it just depends on who you ask. But, health care should be free for everybody. Because again, we pay for certain countries to get it for free. Our dollars go over there. So like, why is this even an argument for us? Because we just put up with it, Mad Dog, did I say hello to you? If not, hello once again. Patrice, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Thunder says, do you think we are loving to experience the Great Gatsby time period again? You said, I think living, is that what you mean? He says, the line between rich and poor is growing and the middle class is disappearing. Well, yeah, it's always been prophesized that would be the case. that the middle class would disappear, and it's kind of gone now. It's the bridge, if you will, between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. And it was said in this book, this was written in like the late 1800s, the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. It talks about all of that. So yeah, we're definitely seeing that in real time. But if you know, it also prophesies that in a sense, the machine will, the people, the proletariat will rise up against the machine, and the machine will be no more, because it says pretty soon there'll be nothing left to eat but the rich, right? That's where the term eat the rich comes from, rise against the machine and all of that. So that's what this talks about. And I believe we're seeing that in real time. So when people ask me about a Trump presidency, as I was telling the lady at the polls today, I said, I don't like a lot of things that Trump is doing. I said, but I don't hate the presidency necessarily, because it's waking a lot of people up who ordinarily would not have woken up if Kamala was in office or whatever it was. Now, a lot of people, especially white folks, they seeing that, oh yeah, that includes me too, right? So eventually everybody's supposed to get tired of what's going on and say enough. It's, do or die type thing. Lisa, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lily, what's going on with you? Easy says, cool. Then we need to shut down for the holidays. Show these folks the power of not spending during the economic holidays. Yeah, that's the call. And we were told to do that anyway a long time ago. Not give this oppressive system any more money, but for whatever reason, we just keep doing it. So yes, we should be doing that. I know what you meant, Thunder Living. Papa Nelly, how you doing? Long time no see. You says Trump ain't keeping it. The Democrats voted no 14 times. Well, it's see, I have a public relations degree, a master's, and it's called spin. So it's all on how you spin it. Did the Democrats vote 14 times no? Yes. But what's the other side of that story? Because you can also say that the Republicans voted 14 times no. So who's right? So that's why I said a spin, and if you spin something and you keep spinning it, and that's how propaganda works, right? You keep spinning it, and then pretty soon it's like, oh, well, the Democrats voted no 14 times. That is true. But did the Republicans also vote no 14 times? Or they voted yes. So they voted yes. So it's like, who is right? Is the yes vote correct, or is the no vote correct? See, that's when we have to really start thinking. But see, they don't want us to think. They want us to believe that the Democrats voted no 14 times. Well, what did they vote no to? And what did the Republicans vote yes to? Do we even care about that? I don't know. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Brother Sammy says blacks are not in many cases are not loyal to their spouses, and should be, but should register, but definitely not be held loyal to any party. Yeah, which is why we should be nonpartisan, independent type thing, because I don't want you to assume my vote. If you say you're Democrat or Republican, we know they're gonna vote for us type thing, right? Water Services, I'm referring to your polls. What are your sources? Well, as I always say, you ain't got to believe nothing I say. You can always leave here really quick and go to Google, wherever your source is, and check all of these things. Then you can come back, right? So, you in a sense, you don't believe me. Well, go prove me wrong. Go prove me wrong. It's easy to prove me wrong. I don't have to sit there. I have no benefit in sitting up here trying to lie to y'all. As I say, if I'm lying, it ain't on purpose. So if you don't believe what I'm saying, you're more than welcome to go fact check it yourself. See, in a sense, we got to stop being lazy. And that's why, too, and Donovan and I always say this, don't believe me, go see for yourself. But a lot of y'all, not y'all over there, y'all just believe any and everything everybody says. So I'm glad that you asked me that. Go fact check what I'm saying if you don't believe what I'm saying. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Because I know I'm so behind. Ahaya, hope I said that right. How you doing? It says there's so much black wealth. It's always blackity black. Where are these black celebrities? Honestly, the black celebrities are in their skin. And I say that they're in their skin because, if they never spent the dime, what about the rest of us? I don't need the black celebrity to do nothing for me. Right? Do we need the black celebrities to do anything? And if you don't, when I say you, mean we don't like what the celebrities are doing, stop supporting them. Right? Stop supporting them. But, we don't necessarily need to rely on the celebrities. The celebrities, their job is to entertain, right? So on one hand, we can't say, oh, well, we don't want you showing up at the rallies and telling people who to vote for, this, that, the other. Just shut up and dribble and entertain. But then when something go down, like, well, they entertain us. See, it's kind of, speaking out of both sides of your neck. Not you, I'm just saying in general, when we ask where are the celebrities, but the celebrities are doing what they are supposed to do. Entertain, sing, dance, twerk, whatever it is they do. That because Malcolm X told us that years ago. Why is it that the entertainers, is it puppets and clowns and entertainers, comedians? Why are they seen as the leaders in our community? No other community has says where are the celebrities at? Not like we do anyway. So what I'm saying is, I'm not looking for a celebrity to do nothing that we could do for ourselves. Right? I could be wrong. Usually I kind of am sometimes. Negro says, don't punish the vulnerable. They didn't sign up for this. There you go. Mad Dog says, Demetri, we know how to survive in tough times like this. Absolutely. Absolutely. How you doing? Doc Rivers. Yes, that's who it was. Oh my God, I'm so behind. Ronald, how you doing? Says Democrats caused this. Okay. I'm not here to try to change your minds. Honestly, I don't know. Let's see. Water Service says, when has the Democrats ever cared about the children last year? About this time, they wanted the children more. I'm not, listen, you put words in my mouth. I'm not defending them. I'm telling you what's going on. I didn't vote for the Democrats last year. So you're not speaking to a Democrat voter. I didn't vote for them. In fact, I actively campaigned in a sense against the Democrats. I did not like what they were doing as far as letting all the illegal immigrants come over here and taking care of them while Black Americans were denied everything. I didn't like that. So I didn't vote for them. So I'm not trying here to speak for the Democrats. I'm just giving it to you as I know it to be. Again, if you don't believe me, you can go fact check it yourself, homie. It's free. Google's free. Stephanie, how you doing? Says he's not refusing to give anyone food stamps because there are one. The Democrats closed the government. The only food stamps he could give are from an emergency fund, which won't even begin to cover. But he was told to do that. He was told by 2 federal judges to get up off the food stamps, right? And he said he would, but then today he changed his mind. And I guess I can understand why he would, because he feels like I'm acquiescing the demands or whatever it is of the Democrats, and he doesn't want to do that. In fact, he's trying to get rid of the filibuster. He's telling the Republicans there at the Senate to get rid of the filibuster, which I guess will give them leeway to just kind of do what they want, type of thing. But he was told to give up the food stamps. Okay. There's a shutdown going on. There's a contingency fund that's for that. It's not for anything else. So he's out of compliance with the federal judges that said that, yes, you must release the food stamps. And he says he's not doing it. So I'm just telling you what's going on. Tahada says, I think the coach, Doc Rivers, he's a red Bucks. So you say you can't trust what he's saying? A bed buck? Is that? I don't know nothing about the man. I'm just telling you what I saw him say or heard him say. Papanelli says 60% of EBT goes to illegals. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so let me skip down a little bit. Make sure I'm not skipping anybody. Corey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says for the people laughing at this ish is our whack. Yeah, and it's not funny. It's not funny. Cynthia, thank you. Once again, love and appreciate you. Said Demetri, no matter what, I can't support a party that allows men to enter women's restroom and locker rooms, etc. I'm not telling you to support anybody. I'm not telling you to support the Democrats. I'm not telling you to support the Republicans. I'm just saying what's out there. I'm not telling you to do that at all, because I don't have the ability to tell y'all who to support. I can only tell myself who to support. I just know that I am nonpartisan. I've been that for a long time, and I'm going to stay that way type thing. But at the end of the day, I don't support either party, to be honest with you. I don't support any party who would be all right with people not eating, but they'll fund all kind of other stuff. So I don't know how anybody can be all right with either party. That's just kind of my take on it. But yeah, I'm not with the men and women's restroom. We talked about that yesterday as well. I don't think I saw you here, but we talked about that. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Jesse say, there was just a plane crash near Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't hear anything about that. That's crazy. Were there any survivors? Negro says, I don't believe they'll reopen the government. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, because then one of them is going to have to give, and then they don't want to be seen as a punk, right? So yeah, Black Wolf, how you doing? Says, why do people keep saying Trump is taking food stamps when the Democrats' fault? It's both of their faults. Okay, it's all of their faults. Because what you're saying, and that kind of tells me a lot of people, I'm not saying you were talking about them, don't know how government works per se, right? You're not supposed to just let people just ram any and everything through, do whatever they want. You're supposed to give them opposition, pushback that's reasonable, right? So when you learn, and I don't know all the stuff that's in those the bills and the spending bill that they want to pass that's stalled. I don't know all of that, but I think we should really get stop basically listening to people and talking points. Do the research for yourself. It's like I talk about those reparations bills. I'm in California that a certain group was advocating for those bills because they knew most people who followed them would not read the bills for themselves. I read the bills. Okay. I try my best to read. I know I can't read the ones with thousands of pages. I could probably get a summary, but for the ones I can, I read them. And I knew right away those bills in California were bull caca. But a lot of other people didn't know it. They were just, yeah, some good things. Like, there ain't no money on those bills. And those bills save for other people as well. So how is that a good bill that Gavin actually vetoed, right? Even the Asian hate crime bill had a lot of people like Roland Martin telling people, oh, that's for everybody. And in that bill, I read it a few times. It doesn't say anything about anybody else but Asian Pacific Islanders. That's what it talks about. But again, they know most people won't read those bills. So when you say it's the Democrats' fault or the Republicans' fault, how do you know? You listening to Fox News, you're listening to CNN. How do you know that whose fault it is? At the end of the day, neither one of them can come to the table and decide on something so that people could eat. So it's both of their faults. Because I tell you what, they eating right now. So yeah. Let's see. Brother Damon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You say you agree with Cynthia. Gearhead says they weren't stealing benefits. The Democrats were giving them benefits. And that is true too. The Democrats told the illegal immigrants, come on over. Come on over and get all you could get. And they did. So yeah. Brother OG, Jesse, what's going on with you? Sorry it took me so long to get to you. Says people think the illegals are stealing all the benefits. What do you think this administration is stealing? They're all gonna leave trillionaires almost. That is the theory that Trump is trying to become a trillionaire. That's just kind of what I've heard from different sources. How true it is, I don't know, but I don't know. It remains to be seen. The truth, please. How you doing? Says both political parties are garbage. I agree with you. Anita, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. Patrice says, by law, Congress is funded during the shutdown. The federal government, workers, military, and EBT benefits should be funded by law. This law would prevent these politicians utilizing American citizens for their personal agenda. And that's why the contingency fund is there. But, you know, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, right? So they run around talking about, is this people's fault? Is these people's fault? But it's like, if you understand how it works, then, you know, like you said, the American people aren't supposed to be pawns, but that's what they are. And I love that you said that. American people are pawns. They're hostage, for a lack of better words. Well, if the Democrats don't do it or the Republicans don't do it, well, then you, like Caroline Levitt said, well, if you want your food stamps, call your local Democrat and tell them to open up the government. It's like, no, why should they do that? That old government should just be open enough, at least so people can eat. But again, you're putting it on the backs of the American people who depend on those benefits, who are already at their wits' end trying to figure out how they're going to eat. Well, then you call your politician. That is so tone deaf. And it's let them eat cake. Like, what are we doing here? Like, at some point, that's why I say I don't get it. I don't do party line stuff. I learned to not do that a long time ago because we get here. We start to rationalize things that should not be rationalized. Because as I always say, there but for the grace of God, there go I. And right now, it ain't me. So I'm not going to sit up here and gloat and say, well, they say, because right now my stomach is full. Okay, I ate earlier. And I ate what I wanted to eat. But if it ever came a time that I didn't eat what I couldn't eat what I wanted to eat, I damn sure don't want to hear people talking about why they should tell them. I wouldn't want to hear that. So I'm not going to impose that on nobody else. That's just me. Let's see. Let me skip down just a little bit. All day, every day. How you doing? Since DK, people have said that FBA won't unite. We are being forced to unite. Yeah. I have my theories on that, but I don't think I have time to get into that. That's the second time somebody's brought that up, and I just kind of stayed away from that talking point. Just because, in short, FBA, and I know that's a specific group, to say FBA are going to won't unite, but they're going to unite. How are we going to unite if FBA is a specific group and there's other people who don't consider themselves to be FBA, even though they're Black American? Does that make sense? So it's kind of like an oxymoron, sort of, kind of. I think that's all I'm gonna say about that. Cindy, how you doing? Says, if you know about the 400-year prophecy, you understand that we as Blacks are next to be kicked out of this place. That's why he's tampering with the Constitution. There's so much more to this. Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, they're trying to keep it white, trying to keep it right, and they think white is right type of thing. But you cannot out legislate the will of God. So I totally agree with you. Patrick, how you doing? Says, I love the thumbnail to this video because it shows Trump with a non-Black folks responding to the situation with Snap. Black people are always made the face of Snap in the white media. They have to do that because to talk about us, that sells views per se, gets people to show up. Yeah, it's the Blacks. The Blacks, they're on food stamps, the Blacks. But it's like we see your people lining up at those food banks crying and crashing out all over the news talking about, I don't know what I'm going to do. How dare Trump do this to me? But see, they don't want to do that because that is the actual truth. Again, we're going to talk about that on the African Diaspora News channel tomorrow. But yeah, they don't want to really delve into that because they got to keep selling the false idea that it's just the Blacks, which is kind of why we're in this situation, because a lot of people voted for Trump because they thought they were going to stick it to everybody else, including the Blacks. You them food lines too, ain't you? You know, so a lot of people are getting some their understanding rearranged. Who else haven't I seen? And I'm sorry, I don't want to skip over everybody, but I want to make sure I get everybody before I leave. USSCO, how you doing? Says, how about get a job? No one is stopping them from working. There's a lot of people on food stamps that are working. See, that's why I said y'all need to educate yourself, and I mean that respectfully. There's a lot of people who are working on food stamps. I think most people probably work on food stamps. I don't know, don't quote me, but a lot of people already working. It's supplemental. It's not here, we're gonna fill up your pantry. It's supplemental to go help stretch what you have, to add to what you have. Supplemental, right? So there's a lot of people who already have a job. But why is it that we want to talk about people getting a job, but we don't want to talk about the people who are working in those jobs who are making minimum wage, and we don't want to talk about the rent is too damn high, right? We don't want to talk about those things, but we want to tell people to get a job. Hell, some of those people got 2 and 3 jobs. You know who I'm used to be, and I don't know, they still might be. The biggest benefactor of social services is Walmart. And Walmart, their heirs make up the richest. They got more wealth than the 99% combined. This is the Walmart heirs. But yet their employees are dependent upon government assistance, and those people work. But the problem is they don't earn enough money. So we got to stop just saying stuff because we hear it type thing. And I don't mean to seem like I'm annoyed, but I kind of am. Because at this point, we should not be so, and I'm trying to find a word. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but remedial in the things that we say, get a job. There's a lot of people who got jobs. Why don't we say, hey, lower the rent, make it to where people don't have to spend more than 50% of what they earn every year on rent. Make it to where healthcare is not up the wazoo. Make it to where car payments. Now, they said the average price of a car is $50,000 for the average price of a car. Making a payment about $1,000 or so. And y'all can fact check all this, okay? So why are we not having that conversation? If I need to go out and get a car, I'm going to have to spend $50,000 on average to get me a car, or anybody for that matter. I can't think of too many people that can afford $1,000 car payment sans insurance. So we need to start having those conversations too. See, because we get into demonizing the poor. Listen, I know of some people who are working the system. So I'm not saying those people don't exist, but they are getting more of a conversation than the people who are doing the right thing, who actually need those benefits, right or wrong. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Kevin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Miss Sweets in the building. Hope you're doing well tonight. Cynthia says that Demetra, the illegal immigrants made and received a lot of money from American taxpayers while our families were terribly broken mentally and struggling financially. I will not argue with you with that. They did. That happened. And it shouldn't happen at all. So I totally agree with you on that. Totally. Boss Player, how you doing? Says the billionaires are the ones who are stealing all the benefits. Stop blaming working class and poor. A single mom relying on stamp benefits is not the problem. It's the capital ruling class. There you go. How you going? And on average, I think they said the average recipient receives about $168. So people talking like, yeah, there's some people's getting a lot of money, but that's not the norm. It's probably more the exception, but the average benefits that people are getting is about $168. So we're not talking about a king's ransom. I can barely go to the store from just me and my daughter on $168 a week. So again, we got to start putting stuff in context and stop just saying stuff because you heard somebody else say it. Like somebody said, well, how do I know what you're saying is true? I don't know. Prove me to be a liar. And then we can have a conversation. I'm not saying I'm right. Prove me to be a liar, and then I will backtrack what I'm saying. So yeah, my sister, how you doing? Says my Affordable Care Act premiums rose from $165 to $1,100. Figuring out what to do. But see, there's some people saying that, well, too bad, so sad, right? How the hell somebody's supposed to go from $165 to $1,100? And I'm assuming that's a month. But yet, too bad, so sad, because we doing this party line stuff. The Democrats are right. The Republicans are right. But yet, screw you, right? I mean, essentially, that's what some people are saying. Too bad. That's not cool. Because I would venture to say most people probably don't even have $165 to part with, but $1,100? It's cruel. It really is. Avenged Ancestors, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? There's so many comments on here, and I apologize. Willie, how you doing? Said, did you hear 2 days ago the feds just quietly injected $29 billion into U.S. banks overnight in an unannounced transfer? I did not hear that at all, but I'd be interested in learning more about it. Faith in Yah Dialogue, how you doing? Says, yes, all the voting that everybody does, why are they still allowed to get their paycheck? That's why aren't we holding their feet to the fire about that? But like somebody said, we boss basically said that we on a bumper of a single mama getting some funky food stamps, but ain't talking about the Congress where they get like $180,000 a year and to do nothing, sit on their behinds to pontificate. You put that on your plate, right? And about what people should or should not be getting. So yeah, Lady D, how you doing? Says, yeah, taking taxes out of our check. Yep. Ward, how you doing? Says, Dick Cheney's past to remind us that Trump ain't the only source of evil. He was buddies with both Democrats and Republicans and Hollywood celebrities. Bill and Hillary attended his and Melania's wedding for God's sake and even encouraged him to run for president. Yeah. But all of a sudden people on these party lines, but they all homies, all of them at the same time. Like you said, they went to each other's weddings and stuff. Oh, thank you, Avenged Ancestors. I ain't always right. Water Service says GMO beef in America, we don't need it. I mean, you tell that to the farmers because we was needing up until they got the Argentinian beef, right? And how you know what they putting up in their beef? So all of a sudden, their beef is better. I'm just asking questions because it sounds like you like to listen to a lot of talking points. Where's the guarantee that Argentinian beef is better? And you had GMO beef between your teeth up until now. So what the problem is? Let's see. Kevin says Israel is still getting its billions, even though Congress is shut down. Yes, I saw Floyd Mayweather over there. Lord have mercy, this man. It's embarrassing. Damien says the white farmers have 52 billion stashed in that big, beautiful bill. Well, the way they act, it don't sound like they have it anymore. I don't know. And it sounds like some of that was maybe back pay, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. Please don't do that. Brian, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says, Sister K, people have said for years that FBA can't come together. It looks like God is permitting these folks to force us to unite. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Black people, we're going to come together whether we like it or not. So that I agree with. But I was just kind of throwing that out there for thought, We talk about uniting, but somehow we're separate. 48 TCO, how you doing? Says, hey family, I'm not suffering anymore. Says, then I have been suffering as an FBA Black American in America. I'm eating my chicken and drinking my red drink. It was just Kool-Aid, red Kool-Aid, Flea, how you doing? It says if we remove illegal immigrants from SNAP, we'll save 70% of money spent to give out to benefits. Again, I don't know the numbers on who and what is getting what. I'll take your word for it because I don't have anything to say it's not true. Perhaps I need to brush up on that portion of it. So forgive me. Brother Sammy says, so you're talking to Sister Sherry. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Oh, I'm right at an hour. Who else? Patricia says 250 million for Trump's ballroom and estimated 400 million to $1 billion to renovate his $400 million plane he is permitted to accept from Qatar. Thunder says, DK, what is Walter doing or saying to financially prepare for what's coming? Cash, silver, bonds, real estate. What is wealthy Walter's stance on this? We have to have him on here. Walter's been, he's into selling used cars. So he's really trying to do those things as people really aren't buying things anymore. So he's working pretty hard to do that, but we'll have him on here to talk about it. Walter's kind of one of those people, when he got to get to work, he just puts his head in the sand and don't come up until he's, done doing what he's doing. But we definitely need to have him on here. Lady Diana, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. More Sam saying to you, hope you're doing well. Says, have you heard of the universal income agenda? Yes, UBI. That was originally a proposed by Andrew Yang when he was running for president. Was it 2019? Was it 2019, 2020? Yeah, which a lot of people say, where are we going to get the money from? And now we wish that somebody would propose a UBI, huh? Magneta, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. George, how you doing? So it's the Democrats holding things up. Okay. Says Obama spent $400 million of tax money to improve the White House, yet liberals say nothing of that. They've all spent money to improve the White House. I think it's about optics at this point. You got a shutdown going on and you're building a ballroom. You're having these parties. It's optics. What it says is, I don't give a damn about what you are going through here. We're going to continue on as though you don't matter. So it's tone deaf. It's bad timing. It's a lot of stuff. So yes, it's not unusual for presidents to do renovations. I don't know if Obama spent $400 million. I mean, I've heard that presidents will renovate certain things. Of course, when they get in there, they make it their own. But Trump, I think, is kind of making the place like he ain't trying to leave. So I think it's about timing. I could be wrong though. All right, so let's see. Who else haven't I seen? I'm so sorry. Brandon, how you doing? Said they're just shills, okay? Constance, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Renz, how are you? I think I saw you earlier too. George says entitlement programs are being abused by many, especially the well and able-bodied good. Says these Black celebrities are used to us being ignorant. I think he said Malcolm X warned us about Black celebrities and white liberals in the 60s. Yeah, and here we are talking about where the celebrities at. Lily, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just kind of going down. Negro says, well, Mariah told us not to cancel Christmas. Right, the queen of Christmas, right? Mariah can't tell me what to do. Let's see. Five Rings, how you doing? Says the celebrities, half of them are broke and can't help. Yeah, right. They pretending that they got it, but do they have it? I don't know. We hear about them going bankrupt all the time. Thank you, Mike, for asking everybody to donate to the channel. There's ways. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, if you see fit to do that. Love and appreciate you. So thank you once again. Mike, I'll just say 71. How you doing? He says, I'm with you on that. I don't support either party. Yeah, I'm just not about to be doing it. Water Service says, I'm not right with either party, but we are seeing some positive changes in this current administration. I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on who you ask. Right now, sounds like Trump is not a lot of people's favorite, because everybody's catching it. What the fallout of what's going on is not beholden to just one party. Everybody's catching it. So, it really remains to be seen. Jacqueline, how you doing? You know what? It's my pleasure. I do my best. Like I said, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong, and I will concede that. I'm not trying to mislead anybody. It's not my thing. I don't like doing that, and I won't do it. Willie, how you doing? Says, I said hi to you already. He says, undocumented immigrants are not eligible for SNAP and other similar federal public benefit programs. Well, you and I know that. But if you say something enough, then people believe it. All you got to do is just Google it. Not that Google's always right, but damn, it's the least you can do, right? Sister Shirley says, I saw a chart with CIS organization saying that it's 48% of illegals, 34% illegals, and 25% Americans. So that's where that 70% is coming from. They're merging the illegals with, so I guess, legal immigrants. So if you hear legally, does that really count? So there's not really 70%. I kind of thought that was high, but I don't have any information. But thank you for providing that. Rich, how you doing? Says Trump said the Democrats' fault, but the illegal administrations before Trump allowed the illegals in the country full force. So you're talking about the Biden administration. They did. And that's why they're not in office right now. Because people was like, hell to the no. MC Fact says, fun fact, the Democrats cast the dissenting vote against the civil rights bill. Yes, they did that. But some would say, there's a Southern switch type of thing. They're all the same, on the same bird, right? But you got to factor in the Southern switch. If you know type thing. It's not a long story, but we'll get into it another time. More Sam, you says Trump and his puppet masters are doing a lot of disregarding of the Constitution and judges. What do you think we citizens can do to push back effectively? What people are doing tonight, voting for your interests, voting for common sense. See, we haven't been doing that as a society. We haven't been voting for common sense, and here we are, right? So actually get out there and vote, especially on the state and local level. People, that has the lowest turnout. As y'all see, y'all voted. And, to say state and local matters. It does. Because your mayors, your governors, they have more of a direct effect on your life than the president does. Your senators, your congress people, they have a direct effect on your life. Your judges, your sheriffs, city council, those people have a direct effect on your life, but we don't show up to those. And then we wonder how, we get these politicians in office for 30, 40, 50 years doing nothing because we don't think it's important to show up to say, okay, let's see who else is on the ballot, what they talking about. But we kind of just do the name, type of thing. And look how that's worked out or not. For us, Joe, how you doing? Says officially a dictatorship. Some would argue that. If you can define a dictatorship, some people will say, yeah, it's looking like it's that. It's you do as I say type of thing, which is why a lot of people say we have no kings. Some people argue that the Trump administration is moving toward that. Just even thinking about something as far as the military is concerned, look at all those strikes that they're doing in the water in regards to these Venezuelan drug dealer, these boats, which they're saying a lot of them are just fishermen. And they don't even, in a sense, know who they are. They're just bombing them. And the UN has rebuked it. What that means, I don't know, because it doesn't seem like Trump listens to the UN either. But, just kind of doing things the way you want without going through checks and balances. That sounds like it could be on the verge of a dictatorship. If I'm just, connecting all the dots. Sunlight says, let me know when y'all ready to eat and eat well. Has everyone had enough yet? Right. Let's see. Soli, how you doing? Says FBA is a lineage, not a political group. I didn't say it was a political group. You guys have told me it's a lineage. I'm not saying that it's a political group. I'm just saying the fact that it's a group away from, other Black Americans. I know that there's an ADOS and I know there's an FBA. So are they the same thing? Are they not the same thing? And are they meant to unify? I like to ask a lot of questions. Michelle, how you doing? Says grand evening, Demetra Moz and chat. The US dollar is becoming toilet tissue flag currency. Yes, that is absolutely true. Brother Joe Nell, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. This fine evening, Lady Brownbird, what's going on with you? Says Democrats don't care about anybody eating. They are holding out because the healthcare industry wants illegals covered, and they will starve us to make healthcare CEOs richer. I don't know. At the end of the day, regardless of who's holding out, there's a lot of American people going to be paying money they don't have, and therefore they're not going to have health care, and everybody should have health care because if something goes wrong, you need to be able to go to your doctor. I couldn't imagine not having health care. I couldn't imagine, because when I don't feel well or whatever, I need to make an appointment, right? So I never would want that to be a burden, but that will become a burden for a lot of people. So, yeah. Corey says people at my job is on Snap. Yeah, there's people who work on Snap. A Davis, how you doing? Says until they pay people a fair wage, we are always going to have this problem. Yep, absolutely. Tahada says mad employees at Walmart got food stamps. Yeah, they get a lot of social benefits, whether it's food stamps, Medi-Cal, Section 8, a lot of things to help them get by because that little funky check. And I could say funky check because I used to work at Walmart in 1992. I used to work there, so I know all about it. Trust me. But yeah, they get a lot of benefits. And yeah, I was logical thinker says even military benefits get EBT. Yep. Members rather get EBT. Says I know some of them with 4 and 5 kids. So yeah, but they won't talk about that though, huh? Nope. But they do. Doug says anyway, they were in a competition with each other to see who was the richest, like Bezos Musk today, which was why they kept cutting cost wages so their workers worked in unsafe conditions. Yep. I used to work at Amazon too for a month and a half. And I can tell you all about that too. I worked at Amazon when I had a master's because I need to pay the bills until something popped. And I was there about a month and a half. I was like, that's enough. Literally walked off the job. So I've worked there too. I could tell you all about it. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all ever. Now, GM South, how you doing? Says, don't let them FBA people get to you. I'm not here to fight at all. Cynthia says, whoever chooses to be an FBA or not, we must still continue to stay focused on our tangibles and reparations. FBAs, we got this. The ball will be in our court. I totally agree. At the end of the day, we need to be getting something. Enough of the symbolism. So absolutely. Gerald says, everybody is a group, but my mother and great grandmother are FBA. We love everybody. We don't, you say we're not a hate group. Okay. I'm not saying you're a hate group. Don't mistake me in that. African Native, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Jonell says, imagine if we all got the got on the honorable minister Farrakhan's economic program. Imagine. Right? Imagine if we got on one when Marcus Garvey was talking about it. And I know that is a bad word, Marcus Garvey, to a lot of people, but you know, he was trying to tell us what to do back then. And you guys know the story. Tag, how you doing? Says military war vet. No, we don't get food stamps because we collect COLA and BAH. Okay. What I understand, there are some, I don't know about you, but what I understand, I could be wrong, that there are veterans that are getting food stamps. In fact, I've seen Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill talk about it. So somewhere in there, I guess, is the truth. Ren, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says we have to realize that both parties are liars and two wings of the same bird. They'll never tell. That is true. They're in it for themselves at the end of the day. Sherry says, I live in Indianapolis and they are still giving out the same $288 for 2 children that they gave out in the 80s. It has not moved forward. Welfare stamps, $175. Ain't nobody getting rich. That's true. I mean, my Lord, you know, like I said, I can spend that in a week, depending on what I get at the grocery store for 2 people, you know. Tag says, I read the court docket. Trump asked the judge, how can he legally take from the emergency fund? Well, the emergency fund, from what I understand, is already allocated toward that. So I guess the courts are saying, hey, you need to release the funds because that's what it's intended for, if I'm not mistaken. How you doing? It says government, Democrats, and Republicans can print money, something nefarious going on behind what they're saying all the time, you know, and we probably won't know for another 75 years because that's typically when they like to tell us about things when we're damn near dead. Magnetic, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. It says federal judges put a block on Trump using the furlough as an excuse to fire government workers. That is true. It says I'm not furloughed at this time. Argentina got our money. Yep, he's a federal worker, so he can tell you all about it. Because weren't you furloughed originally, and then they called you back, if I'm not mistaken? So yeah, they did say no, you can't do that. So, and again, next week is going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm logical. Think you like that GMO beef between your teeth. That's what we used to say back in the day when I was in like junior high. Where's the beef? Between your teeth. Easy says, too much meat in your mouth, not healthy. Yes, indeed. Especially, nope, not going to say that. Not going to say it. Kevin says Floyd Mayweather is a Zionist Jewish supporter. He made a fool of himself out there cosplaying for Israel. Yeah, I saw that. Don't believe media said it's a shame that we have to be forced to unify. Yes, but at least it's happening, right? Cindy, how you doing? If I didn't already say hello to you. Michelle says all the natural resources come from the continent of Africa. You see what they're trying to do over there in Nigeria, right? Well, you know what? For $50, I learned how to say your name. Thank you so much. Said, I know my name is difficult to pronounce, but I just stopped by to say, keep up the good work. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you stopped by, and thank you so much for that donation. It's a hell of a donation. Let's see. Najiki Win. I know that wasn't right either, but I'll get it right. But thank you. Love and appreciate you once again. Yes, Mike, thank you, right? All right. Oh, Willie. Thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says, hi, viewers. How about dropping 10 to 20 in these last minutes? I will not object to that. But thank you for what you have given. I love and appreciate you. Jamarcus, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Share Girl, what's going on with you? Says, keep up the good work. Wow, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can do it. Niji Kiwin. Okay, I have to. It's gonna take me a couple more times, but Niji Kiwin. All right, thank you, because I know I'll be jacking y'all names up, and I do apologize for that. And thank you, Miss Sweets, for asking everybody to hit the like button and all that. Much appreciated to my moderators. Don, how you doing? Says, I'm 42. I can't name ish done for a Black community. Nah, none. Which is why a lot of us just said, not gonna do it. You're gonna have to bring something to the table if you want us to come back out. And I did vote for the, state and local stuff. That's important. All that other stuff will give me a reason, right? That's kind of where I'm at. So hopefully one of these parties will get it together. Niji Kiwin, I think I said it right. He says the United States is a business, it's a corporation, it's not a country. That is 100% right. Tracy, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says they've been throwing these immigrants in here over us since I Love Lucy. Think about how long ago that was, right? That was the 1950s. And I Love Lucy. Tahida Hakbar, I hope I said that right. You're welcome and welcome. Y'all know I'm over here over time, but that's okay. I'm gonna get to the bottom of these comments to acknowledge everybody I haven't seen so far. I think I've seen everybody. But yeah, for article thing, it says, Demetra, please tell us how Amazon was. Ooh. So how it was, I hear too many conflicting stories. Sounds like it wasn't good, but I hear the benefits are great. The benefits were great, but I tell you what, in California, they got rid of that the rating. You have to be at 100%. So people, the turnover was like that. People were just losing their jobs left and right because you get so many write-ups for not being at 100% rate. They let you go. But it was hard work. It was. I'm like you just go, right? And then the break room was like a 5-minute walk and you get 15 minutes. So you walk in 5 minutes to get to the break room and you think about eating something. It's time to get up because you got to walk 5 minutes back the other way. So it was just a lot. I mean, there's been instances where people died in the warehouses. Even when I was there, somebody had fell out because it was so hot. And they had to call an ambulance and things like that. So it just depends on what you were doing. But I would say most of it is hard. But I know California, I think they got rid of that rating system because they're like, you guys are firing too many people, like 100%. What is that? So yeah. Brother Damon, Dr. Claude Anderson told us as well, right? Majestic, how you doing? Says Garvey. Oh, Lord. I knew once I said that somebody was going to say something like that. Wardy said Malcolm's mother was born in Haiti. Yes. Let's see. Patrice. See how your name is coming up? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. I don't know why the names do that. Sometimes they flip around. African Native says the Reserve Bank cannot print excess dollars because the consumption of U.S. dollars is in a world decline. Oh, yeah, it's been that way for a very long time. 48 TCL says, who cares what MAGA thinks? That's what's wrong with you people. You worried about what the white man thinks silly rabbit tricks are for kids. Come on now. Absolutely. All right. I think I might have gotten to the bottom, but then I did. I made it to the bottom. Oh my God. I get excited when I get to the bottom because that means that I've seen everybody and I've acknowledged everybody. But listen, your girl gonna get out of here because I got to get up early and I got to make 10 videos. Some for African Diaspora News Channel, some for Emancipation Media. And then I have to do a live show at 11 a.m. Central Time on African Diaspora. Of course, I will always give you a notification on Facebook and YouTube when I'm going live. And then I got to come back here on Wednesday night at 5 p.m. to have another conversation with y'all. So I'm going to rest my voice, what I have left of it. In the meantime, you all have a great rest of your evening. Y'all please check out Brother Phil on the African Diaspora News Channel, as he always has a wonderful show with lots of information and things like that. And if you haven't already, please get our African Diaspora News channel app. You can go to your Play Store on your phone and download the app. It's for us, by us, and we can do and say what we want on there. We're just really trying to get enough people so we can say, hey, YouTube is cool, but this is where we be at now, right? So anyway, I'm gonna drink me some hot tea. It's called a nighttime tea. I drank it last night, but my phone kept ringing. So just kind of like, what was the point? Anyway, love y'all. Peace.